Hello, welcome to Downtown. I'm your host, Robbie Haigh. Thank you for being with us. Today I am speaking with Bob Dutch, who is president of the Bourne Sandwich Rotary and superintendent of Upper Cape Cod Regional Technical School. What a mouthful. I hope you don't have to say that too often.
That's why we abbreviated Upper Cape Tech.
And Julie Dees, who is director of Cape Kids Meals.
Yes.
Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
And I would like to know, what about the kids' meals? How did it start, and just what is it?
Well, Cape Kid Meals started in 2014 in the Dees School District, along partnership with Grace Church. They felt the need for children over the weekend that were food insufficient. Mm-hmm. These children are provided free breakfast and free lunch during the week, but they are food insufficient, food insecure over the weekend. So most of these children are expected to not eat from Friday to Monday.
That's sad.
Yes, and if they do eat, it's limited. It's they don't really know where their next meal is going to come from, which is very hard. It's a scary thing. It is. It's a challenge to come back to school on Monday and be hungry and sit in your classroom, learn, behave, not be sick. Mm-hmm. So Cape Kid Meals supplements what they receive on the weekend. So while the children are getting breakfast and lunch at school, our bags provide breakfast and lunch for the weekend. If there is a school holiday or an extended break, we add to those bags. So it's a really great program. These kids race to the social workers or counselor's office on Friday afternoons to grab their bags. In fact, we brought a bag with us, and to a lot of people this looks like a bag of snacks, but to these children this is food that they desperately want and are so grateful to have.
Wow.
Yes.
It's sad just in hearing so many kids are not eating sufficiently.
Right. 1 in 5 children in 2016 are hungry. And so we partner with a national organization called Blessings in a Backpack that provides this nationally.
Really?
Yes, in 46 states. So we take the work that they've done and we've become the Cape Cod chapter of Blessings.
Wonderful.
So in 2014, we started with 2 schools, Ezra Baker and Daniel Wixon in Dees, and we are proud to say with the help of the Bourne Sandwich Rotary, we are now serving 8 schools this year. Yes.
Part of the Rotary's mission is service above self, and we are always looking for projects that focus on either children, water, or hunger. And this program with Cape Kid Meals really hits two of the 3 major targeted areas, both children and hunger. What was amazing, and I do a lot of looking at data as superintendent at Upper Cape Tech, and I recognize the number of students at the high school who are on free lunch. And by the time they get to high school, they begin to not have the interest in being recognized as needing a free meal. Right. So I started to look at the numbers at the elementary schools to make sure that as they transition, we're still providing for them at the high school. And what struck me was the significant number of children at the elementary level in both Bourne and Sandwich who were eligible for free lunch. And then finding out that the likelihood is that these children are not getting any meals on the weekend or whatever they can find, which generally would not be nutritious at best. So the Bourne Sandwich Rotary decided that we would engage with Cape Kid Meals and see what we could do to try and make sure that we didn't have hungry children in Bourne and Sandwich on weekends. Wow. As we've begun the process, we're about 2 or 3 weeks into providing meals for students at the 2 elementary schools in Sandwich, Forestdale and Oak Ridge, and then Peebles and Bourndale Elementary in Bourne. The challenging piece of this is that we wanted to start with a small number that we felt we could accomplish in the first year, so we limited it to 100 children, 25 at each school. The reality is that in each of those schools there's at least 100 children on free lunch, so we're only hitting 25% of the needed
Right.
population at this point in time. So our long-term goal, because we've made a commitment to this for several years, is to try over time as we get better and word gets out and we're able to provide the resources financially to buy the food, to expand the program so that we're able to feed every child who is looking for food on weekends. So that's the ultimate goal.
The sadness is that there are so many children, and I don't think people realize that on the Cape there are hungry children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
Right.
think of hungry children in other parts of wherever.
Yeah, the perception is that Cape Cod is affluent,
Right.
and that everybody is doing very well. The reality is that there's a significant transient population that works during the summer and the better weather.
Mm-hmm.
And then as tourism winds down, their jobs are no longer available and the income is gone. And they're not earning enough to be able to save to make it through the winter months. So they become food insecure at that point in time, and in many cases they're homeless during the winter as well, which
Really?
is also a challenge.
Our research shows that the average child on the Cape that is food insufficient lives in 3 to 4 places throughout the school year.
Really?
So they're constantly moving, they're adjusting, and to add on to that the fact that they don't know where their next meal is going to come on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
There's also been stories from the social workers who have been providing this service in their schools for the last 2 years, that they see children taking their sandwich, half their sandwich home from lunch, or they take the fruit that is given to them and put it in their backpack to be eaten at a later time.
Wow.
Yes,
It's a tough thing to hear.
it is. You don't want, as a child, and these are elementary school children, to be having to think all the way ahead to dinner, much less to be thinking towards the weekend. I have to stash enough food to make sure that I get there.
Wow.
So I do have a story that was, we are also currently, we started this year in the Barnstable Community Horace Mann Charter School. And one of the children received their food bag for the first week, and they saw Tammy, who is the coordinator for the Barnstable district, bring in the food bags on Friday mornings is when we deliver, and hand them off to the counselor. And the little girl was standing by, and she said to the counselor, she said, "Are those for me?" And she just got this big smile.
Wow.
And then the counselor ran into another little girl in the cafeteria that same day, and she said, "Oh, thank you for my food bag. I loved everything in it." And the counselor said, "Well, you get to receive it again every single Friday." And she just exploded
Wow.
with joy and could not believe that this was something that was going to be given to her every single week.
Talk about bittersweet.
Yes, yes, it is.
And of course,
it
we
is.
all know that children cannot learn if they're not properly nourished.
That's
Correct.
right, that's right.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Julie's got some statistics that I think are worthwhile to share regarding the number of students Cape-wide, and I think your audience, when they hear the numbers, are going to be somewhat surprised with the number of students that are food insecure here on the Cape.
We do. So this was taken from the 2015-2016 population, and it was taken off of the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. So in Barnstable, there are 29% are economically disadvantaged. Bourne, it is 22%. Brewster, we did start with a school at the end of last year in Brewster, and they are 24%. Dennis Yarmouth is 35%. Let's see, some of these others that we serve, another large one, which is Provincetown, is 36%. I thought that was interesting. Sandwich, this one is 13%, but I've been told by the Sandwich Family Partnership, I think is the name of it. This says 13%, but the number's actually about 16%. And then in Truro is 26, and in Wellfleet is 23. So if you take just what we're here talking about today in a Bourne Sandwich, you know, you're looking at least 45% of the children that attend elementary and secondary education are economically disadvantaged. We do have, it is eye-opening for the counselors even when they put so let me go back and say that Cape Kid Meals, this is kept confidential.
Of course.
So the schools prepare the lists. We don't start until October, but we go until the last week of school. The reason we don't start until October is the parents have to turn in the forms that say that they qualify. So one of the markers that we've used, the numbers are so great for the children that qualify for free and reduced that we sort of take the list that is of free. And the counselors then go from that. And when a new school that we've started, the counselors have been just floored at how many children in, 100, 140, 80 at their schools, that they just hadn't ever really compiled the list, looked at it, and said, wow, these numbers are staggering. So they take that number, and then they come up with kind of the neediest of the needy, the ones that they know that really this would be not something that could help, but something that is absolutely necessary and needed. So once that is done, those names are kept confidential. Cape Kid Meals packs the food, shops for the food, delivers the food to the school, but we don't have any interaction with the students themselves.
Which is good.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's, we know that the schools have taken the responsibility to find the neediest in their
Very
schools.
good.
One of the other things that we found is that some parents are shy about wanting to take advantage of the service.
That was my question.
One of the free, even if it's the free breakfast or lunch, or
Right.
just take into account the Cape Kid Meals and what we offer. So a lot of these, the discretion is up to the schools. So
Right.
at one of the schools that we are serving, they know of a child that comes to the nurse every single day hungry, but that child's parents do not sign him up for the food, the breakfast and lunch program at the school. So that nurse is making 2 sandwiches a day to give to that child every single day of the school year. So they, of course, knew, and that child is now receiving a bag of food for the weekend.
Amazing.
So it is.
It's no time to be proud, is it?
No.
Not when
no,
your children are hurting.
No.
It's a significant undertaking for any organization that would begin the process, and the Bourne Sandwich Rotary has made it a community event. There are two groups from Upper Cape Tech, Interact, which is a high school offshoot of Rotary, and the National Honor Society, who are helping to bag the meals on Wednesday evenings. And then the St. Vincent de Paul Society at Corpus Christi in Sandwich is volunteering one Wednesday a month as well to bag. And then St. Mary's, is it St. Mary's?
St. John's Episcopal
St. John's
Church.
Episcopal Church in Sandwich also has taken one of the Wednesdays for bagging. So,
Wonderful.
you know, the process is, as I said, labor intensive in that, you know, you've got to purchase the food, pick it up, bring it back to a central location for storage, then pack it. So you've got 14 different items that we put in the bag each week, 100 bags.
Wow.
And then those bags have to be delivered to the schools on Friday morning. So it really needs to be a community activity.
Sure.
And fortunately, between the Bourne Sandwich Rotary and the 4 other organizations, we've been able to do this for the first couple of weeks, and it really takes commitment from people to do that.
Sure. Do you work with food pantries?
We do, well, we don't necessarily work with the food pantries for the food themselves. It costs $150 a year to feed a child every single weekend. It's amazing to know that for giving $150, that one of these food bags goes home every single Friday. So you know at 3 o'clock that you will not know the name of the child, but you will know that a child is getting a bag. And to me, as a donor, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
So we do ask for more people in the community that are willing to donate $150, or $20 helps, $50
Right.
helps, anything helps. But we purchase our food through the Greater Boston Food Bank, and we also supplement some of the items that you can't get through retail. And then we do partner with the food pantries in that they might know a family that is in need, or tell somebody about us. If that family has a really good relationship with the food pantry, sometimes that food pantry, knowing about us, can sort of say, hey, this is a really great program. If it's offered in your school, we think you should take advantage of it. Same thing on our end. If we know, if a counselor thinks that a family could really use a food pantry, they kind of talk it up and say, hey, this is a great way for you to get additional help for your family.
And looking at that bag, that represents 2 full days of food.
It does, yes.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
it has 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, it has a milk and a juice, and then it has 6 snacks. And one of the things that we did not bring with us today, which we apologize, is the fresh fruit aspect.
Oh,
so we put 1 to 2 pieces of fresh fruit in the bag, and we really feel like it gives a rounded out nutrition. Again,
Wonderful.
it looks like a bag of snacks, but to these kids, it's kid friendly. One of the things that we do have to worry about is everything has to be shelf stable, and it has to be easy open, because a lot of these children are doing it themselves. They also, because we talked earlier about they're moving around to all these different locations, a lot of times they're homeless. So you can't count on them to have any kind of refrigeration. We have noticed that microwaves are something that they can use. It's been a challenge to come up with the foods, but we feel like we've done a really good job. Lots of times for our lunches include spaghetti and meatballs, ravioli, soups, vegetable soup, chicken noodle soup, stews, macaroni and cheese, the Easy Mac macaroni and cheese. We feel like there's also a couple of things in there that are kid friendly, that the rest of us, our kids are getting and enjoy, and they may not have the budget to get to have those foods.
Mm-hmm.
How can we help?
Well, Bob, go ahead.
Well, first off, obviously, donations are always welcome. As Julie mentioned, $150 supports one child for a school year, and that donation can be sent to Cape Kid Meals, and Julie has the address. The other is that we are hosting a dinner at the Ridge Club on November 12th. It's primarily informational, but we would certainly take donations that evening as well.
Excellent.
Yes.
And it's $40 a person. That's for the meal only. As I said, at the Ridge Club, I believe it's 6 to 8.
It's 6 to 8. Yes.
6 to 8 p.m.
You can go online onto our website at capekidmeals.org. It's very clear to sign up. You can also make a donation there at the same time. We will have both of the founders of Cape Kid Meals will speak. Also, Tanya Rosa, who is the counselor/social worker at Ezra Baker, who helped put the program together. She will, this is her 3rd year of having this in her school. So what we wanted to do was just build awareness. It's not your typical fundraiser. It's more of awareness building opportunity, and we'd love for you to come have a great buffet at the Ridge Club and hear about our cause. And of course, we'd love a donation. We'll have a couple of silent auction items and raffles available too.
Wonderful.
But
So you've been doing this basically for 2 years.
we have. So we've started our 3rd year. So we went from 2 schools to 8, and we're very proud of that. So we are in the Brewster at Stony Brook Elementary. We are in Dennis at Ezra Baker and Daniel Wixon. We are in Barnstable at the Barnstable Community Horace Mann Charter School. We are at both elementary schools in Bourne, Peebles and Bourndale. And then we are at both elementary schools in Sandwich, which is Forestdale and Oak Ridge.
Wow,
So, yes.
amazing. I compliment you.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's heart-wrenching,
It is.
really.
It is.
just
It
to
is.
hear and know that this is happening right in our faces.
Right, and if you're watching this today and you have, I always say that you can give more than you get with time, money, and talent. So if, you don't have the money, we'd love to come and talk to your organization or your group and build awareness.
Wonderful.
We'd love to have your talent or your time helping us pack, deliver, purchase food, however you want. But also, if you have an event that you may want to put on that raises money for Cape Kid Meals, we'd love to talk to you about that further
Fantastic.
also.
How many of you are volunteering for this as we speak?
Oh goodness, that's a good question. I would say, let's see, probably between Barnstable and Dennis and Brewster, there's maybe 70 people that do it. How many would you say, Bob, if you gathered everybody?
It's hard to say with us. We've just begun. The Bourne Sandwich Rotary has 20 members who are helping regularly. Then you've got the National Honor Society students. You've got Interact as a student group, and then the 2 church organizations.
Very good.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure we're somewhere in the 50 to 70 person range
Yeah.
over a 4-week period.
Wow, very good, but not good enough.
Nope, there's
Not
a
for all
lot
those
more.
kids.
There's certainly a lot more need,
Yes.
and it's a long commitment because the need's not going to go away.
Right.
And I think that's part of our biggest challenge is to create the awareness and make sure that the impetus to provide weekend meals for children and the interest doesn't wane. over time. We want to make sure that we
Well,
can sustain this
And
long
I
term.
must ask the question, what happens to these kids during the summertime?
In the summertime, the federal government, through camps and various different programs, offers breakfast and lunch for children who qualify for free and reduced lunch during the school year. So
Very good.
there are programs for them. And I know in Bourne and Sandwich, the food pantry provides for students during the vacation weeks. So there is some awareness and cognizance of the need to do
Good.
that long term.
And you
Those
do this
times.
with the elementary kids?
We do, yes.
Yeah.
The Blessings in a Backpack, that's their primary focus is on the elementary, so we do that too. And one of the things I wanted to add about volunteering is that we have even a 2-year-old that comes and volunteers.
Wow.
He walks the table tops and goes down the aisle and packs a bag
I love it.
religiously every single week. It's a great opportunity for families to come, young children. Again, the bags are labeled with a number, so we don't know these children's names. So it's an easy thing to come and do and bring your family and pack some bags.
I think it sounds wonderful. And the thought comes to mind too that there have got to be kids in high school who are going through the same thing, I'm sure.
There are. And the challenge, again, is the stigma that is associated with receiving free meals.
Right.
In a high school, the student ID has a barcode on it, which you go through the line, and nobody knows whether you're receiving a free meal, a reduced meal, or you're paying full
Excellent.
price.
Excellent.
The backpack, the bags would be a little more obvious, and I think that's challenging to accomplish at the high school level.
Right.
But once we address the elementary student hunger issue, we can begin to think of creative ways to address it at the middle school and high school. Because
Have to start somewhere.
There's
Right.
definitely a need.
Yeah. Wow. It's, like I say, it's heart-wrenching.
Yes.
It's very difficult to know the facts that you're putting forward.
Agreed.
And of course, Thanksgiving is coming up and the holidays, and I would like to think that there are a lot of people out there who might want to send a check
Yes.
and
Sponsoring a child as a Christmas gift to somebody
Wouldn't
else
that be
would
something?
certainly be,
Yes.
a nice gesture.
very good.
And as mentioned, we certainly would appreciate that. And our mailing address is on our website,
Yes.
capekidmeals.org.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, I thank you both for being here and
Thank you.
enlightening me.
Thank you.
Thanks for
And-
having us.
I'm hoping enlightening many of you out there. I know I'm going to do something about it. I hope you will also. This is your host, Robbie Haigh, from downtown in Sandwich. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you again real soon.